Penix, see, because Penix is considered a second round guy, correct? So
I would say second, third. Let's just say day
like
two.
like McCaffrey.
Yep.
Okay. To me, I think there's a big difference between the two. And that is definitely, I think there's no question, health has to do with it, and also
Yep.
his mechanics. You throw the mechanics, you throw the health into it, and I just think that's just too much when JJ really doesn't have anything that you think that you can't coach.
Correct.
And there's nothing that's bringing him down, except just, okay, well, production. Can he do this? Can he do that? What other thing? I'm not knocking Penix as a college quarterback. He's been tremendous for this program, and who knows? Maybe he's gonna be the national championship quarterback. It's very possible. That's
Could be.
how what kind of a season he's had. But question is, what kind of a pro can he become?
Sixth year in college. The front half of his career was marred by injury. Goes to Washington, gets put into a very friendly system, into a conference that does not know how to rush the passer unless you're playing against Washington.
With elite wide
Yeah,
receivers.
elite wide receivers, absolutely. Holds on to the ball for a long time. And like you said, the poor mechanics and lack of repeatability in his lower body and release, you'll see him airmail a lot of balls. But one thing I'm going to put a feather in his cap that none of these other guys can say, and I do think this matters in this time of year, especially December, January, postseason football, trying to make the postseason, he can perform well in bad weather. You know, the game they played against Oregon State, it wasn't this like unbelievable standout performance, but if you watch that game, it was torrential downpour, like as bad as rain as you're going to find in the Northwest. Okay, he was throwing dimes down the field. That was a game that Polk, their wide receiver, Jalen Polk, that we'll talk about, he dropped 2 or 3 balls himself, and that guy does not drop the ball. It was a really rough game to play, and I remember walking away from that game and saying, that really impressed me, among other things, right? I love how he throws the ball downfield. One thing I loved about Russell Wilson, more in Seattle than now, well, he's a really good deep ball thrower. He sets his receivers up down the field really well. He did that at a high level at Seattle. I think that was a huge reason for his success, and you don't see it that often. Tom Brady was really good at that as well. Penix has that. He knows how to set his guys up downfield. He's not just chucking it and hoping for the best.
Sure.
He knows where to place the ball, back shoulder throws, contested throws. He knows how to set these guys up, and that takes a certain level of A, confidence, B, experience, and C, accuracy. He's got all those. I mean, the guy dropped back. At the end of the playoffs, he's going to have dropped back over 1,700 times in college. And we're seeing how much experience matters in the NFL. I think
Absolutely.
It really does. I think it matters, and I think it could end up being a tiebreaker. He's not going to enter the round 1 discussion for me. I made that decision a while ago. He's not going to be at the top 3 or maybe even top 4 guys. But that group of day 2 quarterbacks this year, between Nix and Penix and McCarthy, even
that's
Michael
best, that could be the best day 2 group of quarterbacks we've ever seen in the draft.
And that's why, like, I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of those guys, throws us a curveball and goes back to school. But I like Penix. Would I draft him to be my future number 1 quarterback? No, but I would pull a Detroit Lions type move with what they did with Hendon Hooker. Is, hey, let's draft him. We already have a quarterback that we're happy with. We have a good offense that we're happy with. But
stay in Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that'd be a great move, unless Drew Lock locks that job up.
No, let's not get carried away with Drew Lock now after 1 game. But more power to him. That's great to see. We want to see all these quarterbacks succeed in the NFL. But how many times have we seen these guys? I mean, they all come out for a game or 2 and they play well, and then it's the warts come out after 4 or 5. But hey, let's hope Lock can be so, because like you said, who knows? Maybe Seattle says, you know what? All right, Lock is our future. Maybe we don't have to draft a Penix. But if not, or let's say Lock decides, hey, somebody liked what they saw and they're going to now willing to start Lock somewhere else with Geno there for another year or 2, and there's an opening, a place like Seattle would be a perfect fit for Penix.
Absolutely.
And again, the weather, and that has a lot to do with it. And like you said, he doesn't have to be pushed into the starting lineup too soon. All right, now let's talk about those receivers.
Yeah.
is there a clear 1, 2, 3 order here
Out of these receivers,
out of these?
yeah, I mean, Rome Odunze is number one. Jalen Polk's not even close. And I like Polk, but Rome Odunze, to me, he's my number 2 receiver in the class.
Top 10
Marvin
pick?
Harrison. I think so. I mean, how many guys do you find are 6'3", 217, run sub 4.4, gained 15 pounds this past offseason and didn't lose a tenth of a second of speed? Rare combo of movement traits, contested catchability. The one thing you don't see him do at a high level, but it's because he didn't get the looks, is what he can do after the catch. They just send this guy down the field and tell him, hey, go up and get that ball.
Okay.
And I think he's got the best. I think he has better air coordination than Harrison, or at least at the same level. Meaning when he wants to go up and get it, he's got as much coordination, hand to ball, body to defender as anyone. He's got.
Is he a can't miss?
Say it again.
Is he a can't miss?
Coming from the Pac-12, no, because again,
that's fair.
He didn't see a ton of pro caliber coverage.
But that's what we'll see. Maybe that's why these big games are important. That's what we're going to find out, especially at the wide receiver position.
Yep.
Can they make the big plays? Can they not drop big passes, which we know is all up here, and that's going to be huge.
I just love the combination of traits that this kid has. I mean, I love Malik Neighbors, and I have an easy first. I have a Pro Bowl caliber grade on him, but I think Odunze, he's got the goods. It's just, again, he hasn't seen a lot of NFL caliber competition. He'll see some against Texas. I'm hoping we can see him against Michigan or Alabama because that would be something to watch.
Yes.
Because those teams have NFL dudes at corner.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I didn't say this, but I should. If I had to pick, you tell me, but if I had to pick one of these 4 quarterbacks to win me this national championship, I'm picking Penix.
It's a great question.
And I'm doing it, again, I'm just doing it based on now. I'm not doing it trying to project what he's going to be in the NFL.
Right.
So I believe Penix has shown that like you saying, the Oregon State game, the Oregon game, coming back in both of those games when there was big time pressure after blowing leads in both games and being able to turn it right back on after looking bad for a possession or two. So that's to me, he's basically just had to do whatever he's had to do in order to make sure that his team wins football games. So.
I like the assessment. I do. He's the one that has shown it multiple times this season that he can be the guy to rise to the occasion.
All right. And then quickly, Polk, McMillan, and we've talked about these guys before, but just quickly, what do you where do they fit in?
Polk is day 2, early day 3, Texas Tech transfer in 2021. He's 6'2", 204. He's got a plus body to him, NFL frame. He's got a lot more versatility to where he can line up, slot, outside. Good route runner once he gets past the press. I think he still has some work to do there. I don't want to hold the drops against Oregon State against him too much because of the rain. So other than that, he's got really reliable hands. McMillan missed most of this year with injury. I would say he's probably going to go back to school, but
that'd be smart. Yeah.
Doesn't have that NFL frame, but he probably, if you're just going to evaluate route running and ability to get open by yourself, he's probably the best one of the 3. I just don't love, the lack of tape that we have on him this year. He's a little bit more of an unknown in a wide receiver group that's going to have probably 50 draftable players. So he'd be smart to go back.
Who's their quarterback next year?
Man, they just got someone, right? I forget, but it was one of the bigger names that is going.
Yeah, I can't remember. So and let me just make sure again, I know this is off base here, but Gabriel and Dante Moore are going to Oregon.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting to watch.
Which is just saying I'm okay to sit for another year. That's basically what he's saying.
He should be because he was pretty bad this year. I think he's still a little ways away.
Yeah. So, but Washington, they have themselves a quarterback, so they're already set. And we're going to talk more about all these guys in the upcoming programs. Okay, so you have a couple offensive tackles there.
Yep. So Troy Fatano, he's their left tackle. He's number 55, 6'3", 319. He looks like a guard, but he's got an odd body type in that he's got 34.5-inch arms. And that's more than good enough for a tackle. And athleticism, Fatano looks like a left tackle. I do think he gets out of control a lot, and that bothers me a little bit. So right now, Fatano is on my draft stack, my top guard, my number one guard in the draft class, first round caliber guard. So where he plays in the NFL, I'm not sure. It might be based on who drafts him. If he gets drafted by a team that has a tackle already, you insert him at guard and do what the Cowboys do with Tyler Smith and say, hey, you're our left guard until we need you out there. So I think he can hack it at both spots.
Where does he go?
He's going to be a first round grade for me.
He will. Okay.
Yep. He might even be one of the top 20 players in the draft class for me. I love how he plays. I love how athletic he is. I love how easily he moves. And when he is on point with techniques and balance, he looks unbeatable. But there's too many losses, too many penalties, and it stems from just losing control, losing balance a little bit. But it's not a physical athletic limitation. I think he's not completely confident in his techniques.
All right. By the way, it's Will Rogers.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yep, he's probably going to turn next year because I feel like I've been watching him forever.
Yeah, and
he'll do well there.
Good luck for him because he put up big numbers under the Leach, and now he's got to prove that he can do it without Leach. Okay, and then on defense, how good are these guys?
Brandon Trice, I'm higher on than most. I value power a little bit more than most do. If I view you as a really bona fide top 10 caliber pass rusher in the NFL, you have to have a power element to your game. And Braylon Trice has led the country in pressures 2 straight years. I don't remember the last time that's happened. If you want to use the Pac-12 against him, okay. That's why these games are really important.
That's
right. He's 6'3", he's 270. We just got done talking about Dallas Turner a little earlier. This guy's got 30 pounds on him. Does he move as well? No. Does he bend as well? No. But let's not act like he's a poor athlete. This Washington coaching staff has been saying he's a first-round pick for 3 years now. And now he's got the production to back it up. He plays like he's on fire. Effort plays he'll make plays 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage in pursuit. And one trait he has that's hard to find, watch so much tape with these edge defenders. And when you see it, your eyes open up. The snap anticipation. For a long time, this is what made Khalil Mack really good. Explosive, yes, but he anticipated the snap at a high level. And Trice gives himself that initial advantage so many times because he knows when the ball is going to be snapped. He's just got that killer instinct in him. He is a little all over the place, and I will say he's probably not going to test out athletically at the top. Okay. And that might bump him down a spot or two on the stacks around the league. But I love this kid. I'm going to have a top 15 grade on him. He might be my number 2, number 3 edge push defender in the class.
And most people have him in the second round?
Yeah, most people have like a late first, early second on him among the people that I've talked to. But I'm going to stick with my pretty high. He's my number 3 right now. That could easily be number 2.